live with the news where you live. 8 News at 6 starts now.
If you only have one way to do things, then that's the only way you're going to use. And if your one thing doesn't work, you're going to escalate it until it either breaks or it works. We don't want to break people.
8 News has exclusively obtained a dozen videos that experts and advocates tell us show what went wrong before Irvo Otieno's in-custody death at Central State Hospital. You're watching 8 News at 6. I'm Eric Phillips.
And I'm Roland Wilson. In part 1 of this story, we shared how attorneys could use these videos to defend 2 deputies and a hospital worker charged with involuntary manslaughter. 8 News anchor Deanna Albritton joins us live in studio with part 2 of this investigation.
Well, Roland and Eric, tonight we are delving even deeper. For the first time, looking at new footage revealing more about the final hours just before Otieno's death and what they show us about the state of Virginia's mental health system. I do want to warn you, some of the video you are about to see may be very difficult to watch. New video painting a fuller picture of how a call for help.
I hear a lot of yelling going on. Everything okay?
Put Irvo Otieno on a path that ended 3 days later with his death. As we've reported, Colleen Miller of the Disability Law Center of Virginia and policing expert Mike Jones have stated law enforcement more often treated Otieno like a public safety threat than a patient. This, they say, likely exacerbated his condition. Jones noting possibly too many uniformed officers often surrounding him and their failure to give him time to cool off without their presence. Both criticizing Henrico County police officers' interference in Otieno's medical care at Parham Doctors Hospital.
Everybody relax, bro.
And that hospital staff allowed them to do so. That intervention ultimately led to Otieno hitting an officer. Otieno was charged, and instead of allowing him to get the care he needed, officers took him to jail.
You strap who in? I wish you would.
Jones and defense attorney Ted Bruns also say the new videos 8 News obtained show how Otieno's condition deteriorated during his weekend in jail without access to treatment. Due to the sensitive nature of these videos, we're only showing screenshots of certain portions. But you can see, by his 3rd day in jail, Otieno is seen making finger gun gestures at Henrico Sheriff's deputies naked in his cell. And a video we first showed you a year and a half ago, now made clear with new perspective inside Otieno's cell. An attempt to give Otieno pants, then pepper spraying when he refused the clothes, before the rush inside the cell to subdue him once his back is turned. One of the charged deputies is seen striking Otieno multiple times as he and up to 5 others tried to get Otieno's pants on.
Obviously, context is absolutely necessary. You know, throwing blows because you're frustrated is completely inappropriate. Throwing blows if Mr. Otieno is hurting somebody or is somehow otherwise presenting a security problem could be a very different context.
Because these videos have no audio, in the courtroom, context, Bruns says, will be everything, particularly for a prosecution he believes has a tough case to make that hospital orderly Wavy Jones, plus deputies Brandon Rogers and Kyle Sanders, who are all charged with involuntary manslaughter, were negligent to the point of demonstrating a callous disregard for human life.
What would be critically important to know if we had it is what was being said either by Mr. Otieno or to Mr. Otieno. For example, if Mr. Otieno was complaining that he was in physical distress, that he was hurting, that he was having difficulty breathing, and officers didn't account for that, then I think the case takes on a different complexion.
Context may be important in the eyes of Lady Justice, but to Jones and Miller, there is no context that would make it okay to restrain Otieno in the prone position at Central State Hospital for more than 11 minutes.
Face-down restraint is acceptable, but only for the most brief of times and also for the most violent of the persons who are struggling. Sometimes you have no choice. One of the ways to handle that is to get them to their feet, because you can restrain them, and that's where the other officers come in, and they can come in from behind and assist with restraining them.
How much discretion do you think officers and law enforcement officers should have to use the prone restraint?
there shouldn't be any discretion to use prone restraints. They are dangerous. They are often deadly.
Miller and the Disability Law Center of Virginia declined to comment on the new videos, citing the first trial starting September 30th. They referred instead to the DLCV's newly released investigative report on the case. That report notes that Central State bans the prone restraint because of its danger. Jones says in some ways the events at Central State mirror what happened 3 days earlier at Parham Hospital, with law enforcement and healthcare workers failing to properly transfer custody. But the second time, the consequences were deadly.
I'm somewhat concerned that the Central State orderly and the medical personnel didn't move quicker, because once the Henrico deputies got there, he was turned over to them for treatment and care.
Everyone digital reporter Dean Mershahi and I spoke with agrees the entire case is representative of how broken Virginia's mental health system is, that officers and deputies shouldn't have to be involved in mental health crises, but that without real solutions, law enforcement will continue to be.
A lot of people just don't understand the etiology of mental health persons in crisis. I think we are ripe for more training for not only the police, but for the medical staff.
I do think that Mr. Otieno's death is giving us an opportunity to talk about these difficult issues, but they are issues that have affected hundreds of people with disabilities, mental health disabilities in Virginia. And I'm very sorry that somebody had to die under these circumstances for us to be able to talk about it in this way.
Well, throughout this process, we've heard at least a dozen clear and specific recommendations for next steps to prevent future deaths like Otieno's. They include preventing the criminalization and unnecessary incarceration of people with disabilities, strengthening police oversight and regulating the use of prone restraint, acquiring paddy wagons or larger vehicles to transport patients like Otieno instead of trying to force them into small cruisers, and additional training for law enforcement and healthcare workers on the transfer of custody for mental health patients into care.
Now, Deanna, that sounds like a lot of work that our leaders are going to have to do to start solving this.
Yes, and actually lawmakers just talked about this yesterday, because frankly what I just listed, I mean, that is just scratching the surface. There are dozens of recommendations to solve this. But yesterday those state delegates discussed that we need more mental health care workers, we need more permanent housing. All of that costs money. And so far we haven't seen folks put their money where their mouth is when those things are concerned.
And that's what's needed. Difficult video to watch, a difficult story to tell with details that both you and digital reporter Dean Mershahi have dug up. Very good work on your behalf. Hopefully it prompts some change, and that's what we're really trying to do here.
Yes, and we do have more of those recommendations online at WRIC.com.
Thanks.
Thanks, Deanna.